Well, it's time of year again where the nation looks to Washington to witness the spectacle of the two houses of Congress and the president attempting to agree on something very important. In this case, we have two items: funding the federal government for the year ahead and the looming lifting of the budget ceiling that need agreement in the days ahead. Now, if the recent past is any guide, we should expect an 11th hour solution with plenty of twists and turns. To walk us through what it looks like for the folks in Washington is U.S. Bank senior equity strategist Jim Russell. He joins us for this week's Economic 360 report. Jim, good to have you back.
Good morning, sir.
Of course, we're all hearing rumblings about the potential shutdown of the government. Sort this out for us.
As you'd mentioned, Brian, there are really two distinct issues. Number one, the federal government will start shutting down in stages unless Congress can approve an appropriation to fund the federal government before October 1st, which is next Tuesday. Now, this is all confined to the federal government, has nothing to do with state and local, so that's an important distinction. The second thing that you'd mentioned is also crucial, and that is by October 17th, Congress will need to vote to extend the budget ceiling. As people are aware, the federal government spends more than it takes in taxes and fees. Therefore, the federal government needs to borrow in the global capital markets. So both of these things combined really are on the headlines, will be in the headlines over the next couple of weeks. And I will tell you the politics around both of these items is pretty heavy duty.
I think we're all very well aware of that. Now, as you look at this as an analyst, which of the two issues are more important, the budget for the next fiscal year or this lifting of the budget ceiling?
Well, certainly they're both important. We did experience a 28-day shutdown of the federal government in 1995 and 1996. So that was extremely disruptive. And again, we're staring that right in the face. But of the two, we do think lifting of the budget ceiling, the deficit ceiling, will be the bigger deal of the two, and for this reason. The government needs to borrow in order to pay its bills. The debt that has already been taken on by the federal government needs to be paid down. Holders of any Treasury securities, China, people in the United Kingdom, people around the world have bought these securities. The day that the government defaults or is late on an interest payment will be a very, very negative series of events that I don't think we want to experience. Certainly the politicians are aware of that as well. You know, at the end of the day, we do think the federal government will be funded, no question there, and we think the budget ceiling will be lifted. By the way, that's at $16.7 trillion, and it's lifted on occasion. It's been lifted 5 times under the Obama administration. So it's one of those things that needs to be voted on occasion. Again, the politics around here are pretty heavy duty, and almost anything can happen over the next 3 weeks. Is going to prove to be pretty noisy.
Yet it's tempting for us here in Cincinnati to say that's going on in Washington, doesn't really affect us. Is there any impact on us?
There sure is, and I'll point to two. In Ohio, 11% of the working population in Ohio work for the government. Of that particular population, 10% of the government workers are federal workers, and this is what this pertains to. Certainly those families will be watching developments along these lines very, very carefully. It makes for a nervous period. We found out just last Friday that consumer confidence has hit a 5-month low. There's no question that business confidence will also perhaps take a step back. Very likely we're going to see retail sales also be a little bit soft over this next 3 or 4 week period, slowing the economy at a time where we really don't need this. So Washington is, in a way, causing a slowdown in the economy due to the uncertainty. Again, maybe not a constructive scenario.
A complicated issue. Jim Russell, you've done a great job of simplifying it for us. Thank you.
Great to be with you.
We appreciate you and U.S. Bank.